Faithful listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Keystone Chronicles podcast. This week's episode features two PA guys that help moderate and market the Bow Hunting League, a free bow hunting tournament. Cole Wolbert and Wayne Gadley give us the lowdown on a tournament that promotes camaraderie and teamwork in the form of hunting. This contest has some great prizes, guys. Did I mention that it's free? It also comes with the ability to network and get yourself around, maybe trade some hunts with some other dudes, and make some great lifelong friends. Our guys go over some rules and ways to enter, as well as some insight from their years experiencing the part of the Bow Hunting League. Check out their Facebook page, guys. They couldn't say enough good things about it as far as everybody chiming in and out of different kills the guys are posting on the page. And, just maybe look into checking it out yourself and getting yourself entered. With this thing being free, where can you go wrong, man? You get in there, you end up shooting a big deer that year, and next thing you know, maybe you're with a free bow. So I want to thank our PA guys for coming through, spitting some facts and educating us on this tournament. I hope you guys enjoy our conversation. Thanks again for tuning in. Let's get at it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Keystone Chronicles podcast. With us this week, the Bow Hunting League, Wayne and Cole. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm great, man. We were BSing here a little bit before we come on, and I'm super excited to have you guys come through and talk about what you're doing with the Bow Hunting League. And before we get into that, I'd like for you guys to introduce yourself. Wayne, let's go ahead and start with you.
All right. Well, my name is Wayne Gadley, and born, raised, and in Pennsylvania. I've been here my whole life. I grew up in a small town called Marionville. Don't know if anyone knows where that's at, but basically we were surrounded by public land, national forest, and that's what I cut my teeth on, and that's how I learned to hunt, because that's what we had. Currently, I live south of that, and I live in Clarion County, and my trade, I'm a forester. So I spend a pile of time in the woods. Basically, that's all I do is live in the woods. So it's pretty good for, I enjoy it. Spend a lot of time in the woods, and then I get to scout and, do all that stuff while I'm at work. So
yeah,
sort of I have a little bit of an advantage over some guys because of that.
Yeah, I would definitely say you do. One of the games of being an outdoorsman is knowing your trees, right? And I'm sure that that you can spot your trees pretty well. And
oh yeah,
some of them, man, I'm telling you, I consider myself a pretty decent woodsman too. And boy, some of them, without the leaves on them, I get them mixed up,
Right. I can classify by bark real easy. But it makes a big difference whether you're looking at a white oak or a red oak or right, scarlet oak or black oak or whatever. So it can make a big difference, but it sort of blows my mind how many guys don't even know what an oak tree is.
Right.
They don't know how to spot an oak tree in late fall or something like that, But for me, it's just natural because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you grew up with something that really helped you in the long run, because that's one of the top things, like you said, it's really overlooked, and I talk about it all the time on this show. The woodsmanship is a dying thing. So
I agree with that, and that's what I would say separates me from a lot of guys is the ability to, I don't even have to. I can look at a map and pick out a piece of property, pick it apart pretty quick, but it's just there's something about it when you spend time in the woods, you can find places really quick, and it's hard to explain that how to do that to somebody, you know. But like my dad, as far as I know, he's one of the best guys in the area for knowing. If you're in a 20-mile radius of his house, he's been there. You say, "Oh, I was down this valley," and he's like, "Oh, if you go down there and you go this far to the left, there's a rock down there, and there's a birch tree," and like he knows everywhere. So I learned from someone that had a lot of experience. So when I was 12 years old, I probably knew more than most guys already did just from his experience. And then I just took what he taught me, and I've just, podcast experience, I just keep growing on that and just keep it, advancing that, knowledge that I have.
Yeah, you definitely got, some luck there, because I know a lot of guys that would kill to have a mentor show them, what tree is which, because for some reason most people just don't like to pick up a book, man. And I don't.
Right.
It kind of blows my mind. I don't really understand what the deal is with that, but podcasts are great. And I mean, this is coming from a guy who is doing a podcast. Nothing beats a book. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, unless you maybe rewind a podcast several times and listen to it, and I know everybody indulges their information differently and understands stuff. The comprehensive level's different, but I don't know. I just feel like a book's the way to go, and highlight the stuff that you really think is right, or write it down, and you can go back and look at it again. And I
don't like to read, so that doesn't help me too much.
Well, they make pop-up books too.
Right. Yeah, I'm a hands-on guy. Pictures.
All right, brother. Well, cool. Let's move over to you, man. How about a little introduction?
All right. My name is Cole Wolbert. I am also born and raised here in PA. I've lived in Clarion County my entire life. I actually live in southern Clarion County, right on the line around Jefferson and Armstrong as well. It's a small town called Mayport. It's like right between Brookville and Bethlehem. I've been hunting pretty much my entire life. I think the first time that I was in a tree stand hunting was with my dad before I could even hardly walk. I was like 2 or 3, and he had me in a tree stand. Started archery hunting right off the bat as soon as I started hunting. I was actually able to hunt the first year that they had actually come out with the mentored program. Mm-hmm. So I started whenever I was about 4 or 5. Started with a compound right off the bat, fell in love with it. Killed my first buck at 9, and it's been a slippery slope from there that has drugged me in. I've always hunted private land for the majority of my life, and then here in the past few years I've kind of started moving to the public a little more. Yeah. Haven't had a ton of luck, but it's been a journey, and it's been something that I've been interested in trying to do to make it a little more challenging, add a little bit more fun to it, and just kind of going with the flow of things with the whole hunting thing and archery thing. And every year it seems like I just don't want to pick up the gun anymore.
I can understand
constantly wanting to do it with a bow.
Yep.
Ended up that I went to college for environmental biology, so I kind of learned a little bit of the trees and stuff there. Definitely not up to par with Mr. Forrester here, but I can hold my own a little bit. I can tell the difference between an oak tree and a maple tree. Yeah, and a maple tree. I know which ones drop the stuff that the deer like, so that's what matters. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a journey for me, and I've been pretty fortunate in the years that I've been hunting and everything. So I've killed a few nice deer, but it's always looking to kill one bigger,
So you said something there, and I'm going to dive right into this and pick your brain right away. Cool. So you come from a line where you were hunting private ground, and you also are hunting the public ground. Mm-hmm. And I want you to touch on here the differences of hunting those private versus public, what you like about one, what you don't like about one, and then the same on the other side.
So I'm probably going to blow your mind on this. So the biggest factor that pushed me into starting to hunt some public is I got tired of running into people on private. I had permission to hunt a bunch of private, mm-hmm. Whenever I was still in high school, had a farm that I was able to hunt. We got kicked off of that farm the last week of archery season because the owner's one buddy didn't want us on there. So it wasn't even the owner that kicked us off. His buddy kicks us off for no reason.
Right.
And then ended up that the past few years on the private that I've been hunting, I've been running into more and more people that it's all just stuff that I had asked for permission on, family, friends, and stuff like that. Started running into more people, decided that I wanted some more spots. I was kind of limited, and I just couldn't find any of the deer that I had on camera on a lot of it because of all the commotion in there. I mean, side-by-sides, four-wheelers, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Went to public, obviously, on like state game lands and stuff like that. There's no four-wheelers and stuff, so That was a huge plus for me. And it's been some public land that my dad had some familiarity with whenever he was a kid. So he kind of pushed me in the direction of where he had hunted and everything. And first couple times I went into public, I mean, this past season, I hunted 1 game lands. First day that I was in there, I walked in and saw 2 great deer that were probably 120 to 130 inches. I mean, like 200 yards from the parking area. Because everybody else went one way, I went the other way. Mm-hmm. And it's been a big learning curve, though, trying to figure out how to hunt deer that were being pressured by other hunters compared to deer that were just being pressured by people running all over the place through the woods.
Yep.
I mean, it's they definitely respond two totally different ways, but luckily enough, I've been very fortunate in being able to find deer on the public land. Just haven't been able to seal it yet, but I've come close.
Yeah. Well, I like how you say yet, and it'll happen. I mean, you know how it
Yep.
is. When you put your time in this game, it will happen, right? And you start connecting that puzzle, and maybe, you know, you have that whole puzzle laid out, that 100-piece puzzle in front of you, or 1,000-piece, or whatever you have, but you're missing that one piece, right? And it's under the couch, or it's over here, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you find that piece and you plug it in, things really just click and come together, and next thing you know, you're on a killing spree, as they would say on Halo or whatever. I want to say that I hunt private, both private and public, and the private's great. We have private land, and I have permission on some other land. Now, the pressure on the private land I hunt, like you were just saying, is heavier than it is on the public land that I hunt. And what I don't like about it is if I'm hunting my family land, I don't want to just go up and walk past so-and-so at dark, right? Or maybe I get in a stand late, or maybe I'm going mobile and I want to wait till it gets a little bit light out so that I don't climb a dead tree or put myself in a bad spot, right? Because I've done that in dark, you know.
Right.
I got in the wrong tree, you know, where a tree looks good, and it starts to get light as I'm getting up the tree, and I can't shoot here, you know what I mean? So you get in the woods a little later, whatever, and I don't want to bump the deer around as it gets light out. I mean, I'm not going to purposely walk in front of anybody or mess anybody's hunt up on the public ground, but I'm telling you right now, I'm going wherever I want, right? If I know that there's not, you know, directly somebody in that area where I'm going to mess them up, I'm going there, and I don't care if I jump deer. I don't give a shit what goes on. Like, I'm going in there. I'm going to be as aggressive as possible, and I think that's how you make it happen. I really do. You know, they say the first hit's the best, and I do agree with that 100%. I really do. But I think that's the beauty of the public, man. It's just run and gun, and there's people in there. Nobody gives a shit. You know, if you're hunting the same spot year in and year out, and you're killing deer, good for you. I'm super happy for you, man. But, you know, I feel like on the public, sometimes you got to change it up. Maybe it's only 20 yards to the left, 40 yards, 50 yards up to the right or whatever, but you've changed it up a little bit, and you'll continue to be successful. But enough of me, guys, in this. Let's get right into the bow hunting league. I want to know exactly what the organization is, right? And then, you know, what is the objectives here for the bow hunting league?
Okay. You want to go ahead, Colin?
Sure. So, with the Bow Hunting League, it was created by a guy named Ben Harrison, one of his buddies, Matt Powell, and they had a few other friends that were involved in it. They started it in 2015, basically just as a friendly competition between a group of guys that wanted to basically have some bragging rights over each other.
Okay.
I think there's like 5 teams,
yeah, there were
possibly, so like 15
five or 8
guys.
teams, something like that, the first year, and it absolutely exploded after that. They had a slow start the first couple of years, but now, this past season, we had like 1,300 and some teams.
Damn.
Which we run 3-man teams or women. We've got a lot of women that have started getting into it, which is great.
Yeah, I've seen a
Got
bunch of
kids,
women placed.
everything. I mean, it's I mean, it's everybody that wants to join it. It is 100% archery only. So
Vertical
we have,
bows.
Yeah, and vertical bows. We do no crossbows.
Okay.
It's no crossbows, no guns, nothing. I mean, we won't even share kills in the group that are crossbows or guns. So we've got currently like 46.2 thousand members in our Facebook page alone. We've got an Instagram page. We've got a
Working on
TikTok,
YouTube. It's
working
sort of
on YouTube.
process, but
We've got a Go Wild
can
account.
be.
I mean, we're touching our bases pretty much every social media platform
Right.
that we can. And our big goal is basically just to get people to meet each other and get a network going between people. I mean, we've got hunt trading platforms and stuff on there that we'll literally put a thread in at the start of pretty much every year that is just hunt trading, that guys can get on there, they can talk to each other, and they can say, oh, well, I want to hunt turkeys in South Dakota, and I'll trade you a Wisconsin deer hunt. And there are guys that do that all the time. I mean, it's really cool, the people that you get to meet on that.
Yeah.
I would say that to me, like, the goal for like the bow hunting league is we want to grow as organic as possible. We're not trying to get fake followers. We're not trying to get, we're the people we want to follow us. We want to be true. They want to be true to hunting, true to bow hunting. So most of our, we do grow pretty organic. So we're not trying to get followers. We're not trying we want people like-minded like us to join the league. And it's basically, it is a friendly competition. It doesn't matter if you shoot a 60-inch deer or you shoot a 250-inch deer. If you post that photo on our Facebook page, people are going to be like, yeah, heck yeah, congratulations, that's awesome. Like, there's no bashing. I think that our Facebook page is probably one of the best Facebook pages I've ever seen. It's all positive. Everyone gets along. It's very, it's a comforting place to be. And, it seems like anymore in the hunting world, it's just harder and harder to find a place where there's not toxic people. And we will not stand for any of that. If you get on there and you start bashing people, you're gone. Stuff like that. So we're trying to make it a fun atmosphere, fun place for people to be, that they can share success photos. They can meet new people, like Cole was saying, with hunts and stuff like that. You can trade hunts, but I think the overall goal is just to grow a community of people that are like-minded and enjoy spending time with people like themselves. But yeah, it's a 100% free contest. It's the largest deer contest in the world, or in the United States. I know there's other competitions out there, but we have more members than any of those combined, I'm pretty sure. And we've been growing 50, 60% every year.
Damn.
So I'm thinking next year I wouldn't be surprised. I think we were 30 some hundred people competed this year in the deer contest. And I'm sure we'll be over $4,000.
Oh yeah,
or 4,000 next year. But it could be more. It's hard to say. But we do other stuff other than I guess we'll talk about the whitetail contest first, and then we can break it down in some other stuff.
Okay.
But it consists of 3-man teams. It can be people you know. It can be people you don't know. We have threads on Facebook page that you go on there if you're looking for team members, and you say a little bit about yourself. Say, hey, I'm looking for team members. I don't shoot big deer, but I just want to compete. I want to have fun, and I'm sure you'll find someone that will join your team. I like to do that personally, just to meet new people. Like every year, I'm just new teammates, trying to find teammates that stick, trying to find guys that I talk to on the regularly. And actually, it's worked out pretty well for me because since I've joined the bow hunting league, I've hunted Indiana, I've hunted Kentucky, I've hunted Arkansas. This year, I'm going to Kansas.
Nice.
So all that's from the bow hunting league and guys I've met and making connections and stuff like that. So that's why I joined the bow hunting league personally, was just to try to make connections, make friends, and so far it's worked out pretty well for me. This is what your second.
This will be my third season.
Third season for Cole in the league. This is my fourth season in the league. But it's like I said, it's hard. You can't beat the camaraderie of the people. And once you learn, the first year I joined, I was a little bit gun shy of saying anything, sort of like on Facebook, and I didn't know how to take people and stuff.
Right.
And then you start learning who talks, who doesn't talk. You learn, like Ben Harrison, he's the guy that created it. But nicest guy you could ask, super nice guy. And if you have a question, ask him. He's gonna respond back to you. He's not gonna leave you hanging. DA is great.
Yeah.
All those guys, they're just they will do whatever they can. They go out of their way to help you. So don't be afraid. Like if you have any questions about the league, just shoot someone a message, and I'm sure they'll message you back, and they'll tell you what you need to know. We might not be the best two guys for this to explain how the league works exactly, but like I said, if you have more questions or whatever, just reach out to someone in bow hunting league on Facebook, and we will get back to you. So
yeah, touching on that, we've got a great group of people that are working behind the scenes on it too. We've got a moderator group, we've got social media group. We've got all kinds of stuff that is going on behind the scenes that not everybody necessarily sees, to try to make everything run as fluidly as possible. We've got a great scoreboard guy in Dan Nath. He runs the deer scoreboard like a boss. The stuff that he does with that many submissions. We had almost 100,000 inches of antler submitted last season.
Yeah.
and it was, how many deer were there that were killed? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I don't know. I should know this, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
I mean, it was a lot. Like hundreds and hundreds of deer. Maybe even might have even been close to 1,000 deer that were entered.
Wow.
But what was the average last year? 130?
The average last year was like 130,
I think the average was 130
inches.
inches, and we entered just shy of 10,000 inches.
Yeah, we were.
So you can figure it out.
The final was like 98,000 something.
Yeah, you could figure it out.
So, I mean, we had a pile of deer entered, pile of work that went into keeping the scoreboard updated and everything, and then reaching out to people and everything. That's another good thing that we do. Whenever the scores and stuff start rolling in, so we gave away over $50,000 in prizes last year for a 100% free contest. I mean, that's insane. What other contest can you join for absolutely nothing, and you've got a chance to win over $50,000 worth of stuff? We gave away to the top team last year. They got 3 brand new flagship PSE bows. Damn. Yeah, I mean the
top trad team last year got
3 new trad bows.
3 Bear recurve bows.
Yep.
The top women's team last year got 3 Hoyt bows. They were the Hoyt Eclipse, like the women's bow.
Yeah.
I know this year there's some changes. I know Pennsylvania, Illinois, and maybe Oklahoma. For now, those are 3 states that if you shoot the top buck in that state, you're getting a bow. So like you don't know, and then you just don't know. And then we're starting to do some stuff in the league too, where we'll do random drawings. So like if you enter a deer. Last year, if you entered a deer, you had a chance of winning a new Matthews bow. Yeah. So just by entering a deer in the contest, and it's free. So there's, it's free to enter. It's free to enter your deer. So really, there's a chance of winning a bow for just submitting a deer. So it's pretty easy to do. And how our format is, if you shoot a deer, you have 10 days to submit it from the time of date you kill it. I'm pretty sure you have 48 hours to recover the deer.
Yes.
If you don't recover it within 48 hours, Ben classifies that as being killed by septic or something like that. Yes, you probably killed the deer, but they sort of have to have a draw or a line there somewhere.
Right.
So we have a 48-hour cutoff. So if you shoot a deer and you find it a week later, you cannot enter the deer. You have to have a picture of you with the deer and your bow in the picture. If you do not do that, you can't submit a deer. It's real simple. All you gotta do is have your bow in the picture.
I got you.
And it's all basically the honor system. You basically you score your deer, you submit it. We'll go over photos. You have a measurement of the longest tine, the biggest mass measurement, some stuff like that. It's real basic. And that's only if your deer was over 130.
Over 130. If
your deer's under 130, you don't have to do any photos. It's just on the honor system. And then I think if you're the top 10 teams, now you have to officially get a deer scored because there's so much on the line as far as, there's e-bikes. We gave e-bikes away last year by Kaufman Outdoors. And whenever you start giving away $1,000 bows and stuff, you just have to have some concrete scoring system going there. So
for sure.
We have a bunch of Buckmaster guys that are in the league. So if you need someone to score, they'll come to your house. I mean, you'll meet up with you. It's not a big deal. It's not like you have to have it scored officially within 10 days. You just have to have it officially scored before the end of the contest if you're in the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and we work real close with a lot of the Buckmasters guys. I mean, like Will Leonard especially.
Right.
I actually helped Dan Nath, our scoreboard guy, last year. I was reaching out to guys trying to get official scores, and I worked hand in hand with Will Leonard, talking to him, trying to find guys' scores. I mean, that went for, I think we got the top 15 teams officially scored last year because they were so close. Once you hit team number 7, it was all separated with a couple of inches. I mean, we had so much movement the last few weeks of that competition that it was insane. And we got, I think, top 15 scored. Almost all of the top bucks in every state officially scored. Top 2. I think both of the top 2 guys got officially scored if they were within a certain amount of inches, just to make sure that we're doing the best that we can to make sure that the right person's winning what they're supposed to be winning. Because, I mean, you're going to have guys that don't know how to score deer or have never scored deer or end up that they miss a measurement here or there and extend them and stuff. So we try to eliminate that with the official scores whenever it comes down to the possibility of, hey, you could seriously win win a prize with this.
Right.
And you can tell from photos. You can tell if it's a 130 or 160. Most of the time, like if someone submits a 120 and they say it's a 160, it's like, eh.
Right.
We don't have too much of that happen. Most guys are pretty honest about it. But like, I will say that since I've joined the bow hunting league, it sort of humbled me a little bit, because you might think you are good at killing deer, but there's some guys in the contest, they will put you to shame year after year.
Sure. For sure.
I think that what the biggest deer we've had entered was 252.
Yeah.
And from Ohio, from Matt Brunswick.
Damn.
He's an absolute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in a bunch of magazines and everything.
Oh yeah,
over
he
it.
won like the Quest Hunt Co with that too.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, he was in a couple contests with it, but yeah, just absolutely. I mean, every year there's half dozen that are over 200 entered in the contest.
Yeah. I'm
You
sure. Yeah, I mean, there's
we've
some big deer out there, man, and
Yep.
So a couple questions running into this then. The 3-man teams. So how does that work? Like, so I know you're saying that we can be on a Facebook page. So say I call my buddy that lives in Ohio and he calls his buddy that lives in Kentucky. Can our 3 be together for one score? Is that how that works?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the way that the teams work, you'll have your 3-person teams and the biggest buck from each of you. So you'll take 3 deer. So say if you each kill 2 bucks, your biggest one out of those 2 for each of you will count towards your team score. So you'll have 1 buck that counts from each of you for the team score, and then your other deer will be entered into what we call the King of Tines. So our King of Tines takes your top 5 biggest bucks from the season. So we've got guys that hunt 7, 8, 9 states a year that are entering 4 or 5 deer. All of those deer are going to count for their individual for the King of Tines.
I see.
And then their biggest buck will count for their team score. You've got unlimited upgrades on it. So say you shoot an 80-inch deer in your home state, you go to Ohio and you kill a 130, that 130 is going to count as your team score. Okay. So you'll have that deer and then whatever your 2 teammates kill that is added onto that.
I see.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, like you have unlimited upgrades for your team score, but only your top 5 deer go towards the King of Tines. If that makes sense. Short term version there.
So, and I guess another question I would like for you to answer. So, if you look in Pennsylvania, so there is a top prize for the biggest deer killed in the state.
Yes.
Okay. So, do they do this for like each one of the states, or just like a couple of the states? Is that what it?
Each state has its own. Basically, it's whoever sponsors that state. I do know Pennsylvania this year does have a bow. I do know there's a bow for the biggest buck. Last year, I know the guy got a painting. I think Will Leonard donated a painting.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what last year we got for.
There was, for PA alone last year, there was a print that was donated by Will Leonard, who's one of our Buckmaster scorers.
There was a free mount last year.
A free mount.
Free shoulder mount.
And then they also won, every state for the top buck won Zinger Fletches, which is one of our title sponsors that we work really close with. The 2 guys that run that are in the league. Very active members, great guys.
Yep.
They won Zinger Fletches, and then they also won Tag It decals. So what the Tag It decals are is you basically send the guy a picture of your deer, and he turns your picture of your deer into a decal that you can put like on your truck or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's still growing in that aspect. Like some states are better than other states. It just depends on who's going to sponsor that state. But like we're trying. I don't know if it's going to happen, but our goal is we're going to try to have prizes for like the top 100 teams. Instead of doing top 10 teams, we're going to try to do like top 100 teams. So we're still going to have really good prizes, but we're going to try to give way more prizes out just to keep like, if you enter something for free, your chance of being in the top 10 is pretty slim. I think you got to kill 3 150s plus.
Yeah, I mean
to even be in the top 10.
Last year, our top score, the group that took number 1 in the contest, their average score was like 163 between 3 guys.
It's hard to kill 3 bucks over 160 in a year. Like one guy has a banner year, shoots a 252. That year the guy killed a 252.
Right.
They didn't make top 10 because he killed a 252. His one teammate shot like a 100-inch buck, and then the third guy didn't kill a buck.
Yeah.
So they had like 350 inches, and they didn't make top 10.
Yeah.
With a 252-inch deer. Absolutely just bonkers.
Yeah, I mean the stars definitely have to align to get into the top 10, and I mean we've got guys that are riding out the same team every year.
Oh yeah.
That they've got it down that they are going to kill deer, and they are making a run at that.
Yep.
And there are guys that they do it every year that they're in the top 10. And I mean, they put the work in, though. We've got some very, very serious hunters in that group.
Yep.
So do they have, do you guys have anything set aside for like public land kills, stuff like that?
Yep.
Yeah, our top public land buck this year actually won an e-bike.
Nice.
Right. Yep. If you want an e-bike.
From Kaufman.
And then I don't know. I'm sure we're gonna dive into that more. But I know we do keep track of every stat. It's kind of a unique thing at the Bowhunting League. I don't think Ben's posted it yet, but he has all the information from the percentage of public versus private deer killed. He has the breakdown of days. What day was the most deer killed on? It's kind of cool to be able to, look at back at a season and see like, oh man, November 5th was a hot day. November 10th was a hot day.
Yeah.
We're compiling information that no one else is doing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see that. And then we keep track of each state. So we have a map that shows each state what the biggest buck was in that state. That's kind of a cool little map to look at, and like, man, like I didn't realize that Pennsylvania sucked that much, or I didn't realize that Kentucky was that good or something like that.
Right.
And I think what PA last year was like 154, 156.
Yeah, top buck in PA last year, I think, scored 154.
So it's beatable, in my opinion. I think it's a beatable buck in PA, but it's still that's a heck of a good buck in PA.
That's a great buck in PA.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're getting there. We are climbing the ladder of the size of the deer that we're killing, and I don't think it's any secret that the east or the western side of the state's got a little bit better soil out that way than some of the other spots. But there are little pockets throughout our state that will produce big deer year in and year out, and you can see that if you'll see a lot of people get on these posts, like you said, like maybe on the Bowhunting League, where somebody posts a picture and they say, oh, well, what DMAP, right? Where was this shot, right? They want to know, was this a 2A, was this a 2D, a 2F, a 4D, a 2E,
Right.
Just a couple of the ones, or 3A, couple of your northern / western central Pennsylvania area stuff, Allegheny National Forest stuff. That guys really like to see their big deer come off of that, huge tracts of land. But
and
go ahead.
I was just gonna say there that and then on top of if for the King of Tines, that's your top 5 deer. They take the top 10 King of Tines, so the top 10 guys that have the most inches, which I think last year was 700 some inches. Was Matt Hinton around 700 inches, something like that? He entered. And I think you're gonna have to break 450 to be in that top 10. You have to kill 450 inches of deer to get close to top 10
for 1 year.
For 1 year,
right? So
yes.
you would.
So you can't hunt one state. You can't do one state unless now we last year we invited the biggest public land deer, which was what 206 or 202 or 200.
I think Josh Trollinger's buck was 196.
Yeah. Okay. So right
on
right
public
there.
though, I mean that's.
Yeah. So he was invited to what they call the showdown. So it's the top 10 King of Tines, like the biggest public land deer, the biggest trad, or the best trad team last year got invited to it. There was 13 or 15 guys last year that got invited to the showdown.
We had 17 guys in camp total.
Okay. And actually me and Cole went last year to the showdown. We sort of took cameras and we did some filming for it and stuff like that. So did some media stuff. But it is absolutely a blast. Like I can't explain when you go to camp with 15 other guys that kill a deer of that quality.
Right.
And what we do is, like, we went to Arkansas, go to Arkansas, and we hunt public. We stay in camp together. Everyone hunts, and the goal is for someone to kill a buck, and that's like you win. If you shoot a buck, you're gonna win, like, just the bragging rights of all bragging rights, basically. So you have guys there that just like killed a 196. It might have been the only deer he killed, but he killed a 196.
Right.
You have guys there that killed 700 inches of antler in 4 bucks or whatever, like like multiple 150s. Like just
that's great.
It was awesome, and you can pick their brains. I would highly recommend anybody try to make King of Tines, but it's extremely tough to do. So I've been close a couple of years. I've been really close to making it. Actually last year in 2020, 21-22 season, I got invited to come down because I was like top 25. I had like 300 some inches of deer I killed, but I couldn't go because it was my son's first birthday, and my wife said no.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go.
Yeah, I could see why she'd say no.
Right, but it's that's just another thing. Like, you know, you have a chance of getting invited to this awesome this thing that you go and meet these guys, and a lot of times Ben will give a bunch of swag away. He gives a bunch of T-shirts away, hats. Mm-hmm. You know, I think he has like custom hoodies made that has everyone's name on the back of it that was there, and
yeah, that's cool.
Just stuff like that. And he doesn't charge; he just gives it to people for free.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I think if you enter a deer, you get a koozie or something.
Yeah,
like you get something.
like
if you enter a deer in the contest, you will get a prize. You will get, it might be a canned koozie, but you will get something.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool.
That's the cool thing about like the King of Tines too. Going off of what Wayne said is like, if you end up that you do qualify for that, I mean that is like one of the highest honors in my mind of the bow hunting league, because the guys that are in that, I mean, you see a lot of the same names in the top 10 every year, but those guys have just like chiseled their names in stone.
Oh yeah.
With the fact that they are going to go out and they are going to kill deer, and they're going to kill big deer. I mean, we had one guy in the top 10 last year that only entered 3 deer, but he killed 3 140s.
Right.
Like killing 3 deer over 140 inches in one season. That's something that you dream of doing.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, then you've got other guys that are consistently putting 140s, 150s, 160s on the ground, just year after year in multiple states, and it's crazy to just see that and kind of go through the season with them in a way.
Right.
But what's nice about it is, sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's all right.
I just you don't have to compete in like to be in the contest. You don't have to compete for King of Tines. Mm-mm. You can enter, like you can only hunt Pennsylvania, and that's what I don't want to turn people off of saying, oh well, I hunt Pennsylvania, I'm never gonna do nothing. I'm not gonna win, so why enter? Like, you don't know that you won't win. You don't know that. In being a free contest, it makes absolutely no sense to not enter.
Right.
You know, if you get a random teammate, you can meet 2 new guys. Hell, you might have 2 new friends for life just from entering a free contest.
Right.
And you could win you might get lucky and kill 160 this year in PA and get a free bow out of it. Mm-hmm. I mean, why not? You know.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's not just catering towards the King of Tine guys. The King of Tine guys are basically, you're going to have to hunt 3, 4, or 5 states a year in order to qualify for King of Tines.
Yeah, right.
And not everybody can do that. So, and we understand that. So we're not trying to, that's not the agenda of the bow hunting league.
Right.
That's just a niche of the bow hunting league.
Yep, I understand.
You know, so we're trying to have that little bit of, I don't know, we're trying to cater to everybody as much as possible to make it appealing to everybody. In the first year I entered it, I was like, I didn't enter my deer. I shot 2 bucks. I didn't enter either one of them because I'm like, I'm not going to win. But now I enter every single deer I shoot.
Right.
I don't care if it's 80. I shot an 87-inch velvet deer last year and I entered it because why not, you know?
Yeah. Did you mount that
it goes
deer?
Towards, I did. I have not got it back yet, but
yeah.
No,
I figured a PA boy would mount that.
it was a rough. I went to Kentucky, and my goal was to kill a velvet deer. Mm-hmm. First night in a tree stand, I messed up. It still haunts me. Like 25-yard shot, 135, 140-inch 8-point.
Damn.
Walked by, and I was excited. Didn't stop it. Shot, hit him back, and I was like, hey, I give him time. Never found him. Damn. Looked for him for 2 days. Never found him. He had to have died, but we never found him. So then 3 days later, I shoot an 87-inch velvet, and I'm like, I'm happy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just what it's about, And when you wound a deer, sometimes it's really hard to get back on that horse and get back out there again. People don't really talk about the aspect of wounding an animal and what it does to your psyche. But I do have to ask you what kind of broadheads you're using.
I shoot Grim Reapers.
Okay. And was it the same? Did you use the same broadhead on the deer that you wounded and the one you killed?
Yes.
Okay.
Not the same one. I mean the same type. I don't usually reshoot them, but I shoot the Grim Reaper carnivores.
Okay.
I've had absolutely phenomenal success with them. I don't blame the broadhead. I blame, if I would have stopped the deer, he's dead.
I got you.
Didn't stop him. Mm-hmm. And, at 25 yards, my arrow hit him back, and if I would have stopped him, I might have hit him liver, double lung, but I would have killed him. But I know the deer died. He can't live with a gut shot like that. You can't do it. but we tracked him for a mile with 2 different tracking dogs. He went to a pond. We thought he was going to be in that pond because that's what happens a lot to get septic. And they, I spent 3 hours with binoculars looking at the pond. He wasn't there. So we don't know if coyotes got to him before he died and chased him. Did he go another half mile?
That sucks.
What do you do?
Yeah.
So
it's, I don't like when people, I've got into plenty of conversations and arguments with people where they'll come off as this, well, just don't make that shot. You just make the shot. And you just look at them like, what the hell do you want me to say to you right now? Like, okay, yeah, I know. What do you think I was trying to do? I lost focus, or I hit a limb, or, anything happens and you wound a deer. And I'm just telling you, if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're one of them guys whose chest is out or head's so freaking big that they can't fit through a door because you haven't wounded a deer, I'm telling you right now, it's a matter of time. And I don't wish it upon anybody because it sucks and it's terrible. But I'm telling you, don't think that it can't happen, because there is weird things that go on in the woods. There's just unforeseen forces or something, because I've had crazy shit happen to me, man. And you know what?
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
If you bow hunt long enough, it's not if, it's when.
I really feel that way, but I will say, you always go into that shot, that aim small, miss small. I got to make this shot. I need to bear down. And if you put your time in before you went in the woods and you did that due diligence, that shooting the bow, trying to get out there and shoot that bow. And there's lots of guys out there that'll tell you, get out there and shoot your damn bow. I see this meme or whatever going around this video. This guy's like, go to the gym. And, I want somebody to tell me every day, shoot your bow. Go shoot your freaking bow,
Right.
Because it does make a difference, man. But I think it also matters how you're doing it, right? Because just going in the yard, shooting 20 yards, shooting, 15, 20 arrows or whatever you're shooting, I'm sure that's good. But sometimes, like maybe jump up and down for 2 minutes before you do it, right? Kind of get your heart rate moving and get that blood flowing, because I don't know how many guys I talk to, and it's happened to me too, where you make the shot and what happened, right? You
Right.
just don't
Yep.
you just don't remember what happened at that time, and it's just the adrenaline rush. It's just so
Right.
much that it can happen, and that's why I think the best deer, the best experience I have with big bucks is when they just come flying in chasing a doe, and it's just like dead, and I remember the whole thing, and there's no, there's nothing to it. But.
Looking back at it, I would have done things differently. But when I first saw the deer coming, and this is okay, it happened fast. I actually filmed it. It's on. I have YouTube. I think I did a YouTube video. Yeah, I have a YouTube video up of it. I showed it. I'm not afraid to show it because I mean mistakes happen. But when I first saw the deer, he was actually trotting, but he was trotting towards me sort of, and I thought I don't know if he's. In my mind, I'm thinking, why is this deer trotting? Why is he running? Like, is he spooked? I mean, it's 95 degrees outside. Like, he shouldn't be. He should just be walking. He should be feeding. And he stopped trotting. He started like a fast walk, and knowing what I know now, I would have just went, make a noise, whatever, try to stop him. Worst case scenario is you stop him, he doesn't stop, he runs. But in my mind, I'm like, he's walking, I can kill him. Like if I make a noise, he might spook. And I'm like, it's a rookie mistake. You should always stop a deer. It's a rookie mistake. I know that. But when he was running before I shot, I'm thinking like, I don't want to make any noise. I don't want to spook him. So like, if I would have just double lunged them, I'd been like, perfect. That was exactly as I planned. But looking back at it, I probably should try to stop him, because that's what you should do. But in the heat of the moment, 30 seconds, it happened so fast. I had to make a quick decision, and at the time, I thought I made the best decision, which was not the best decision. Yeah. And I'll own up to it. I'm not afraid of it. I messed up flat out. It happened.
But the other side of that is, there are times where you'll go to stop a deer, right? The famous meh, right? Or some people, they whistle.
Yeah.
I've seen deer run. I mean, they're just educated. They don't want to hear that noise, or they associate that noise with something that's happened in their past. And you're talking about 130, 140 inch deer, wherever. I don't know what part of Kentucky you're in, but if you're in some spots, that deer may be 5.5, 6.5 years old. Okay.
Yep. I was in Western Kentucky. The landowner actually knew that deer very well. He said it was 5.5-year-old deer.
Okay.
So,
Well, there you
you know.
go. So it's an educated deer. You just don't know what's going to happen, man. Because I also have stopped deer, right? This was about, I think 5 years ago, I stopped about 130, 140-inch deer, really old deer, right? This deer was old. I mean, I could tell. And I stopped him, and he was only 18, 20 yards. And he ducked my arrow. And, I really read into the body language of the animal after you stop them. After that happened, because I'm telling you, when I stopped this deer, he turned his head, and I'm 20 feet in the air in a tree stand, and he pegged me immediately. And this is on public land, so it makes sense, but he pegged me like that, and the bow's back, and in my head I'm thinking, well, you're dead. And I released that arrow, and I watched him duck it, and I was in awe. I'm like, how, and I shoot a heavier arrow, but like, come on, man, it's wild, It just fascinates me. It's kind of like a major league pitcher, right? They throw the baseball, and they're throwing 90 mile an hour, and it hits the bat, and it comes right back at them, right? And I don't know if you've ever pitched before or whatever, but it's just like your body's like, and you catch it. You don't even know what happened. It's just a reflex, right? And it's just super comparable to that, I think, But obviously they're superhuman compared to, what we are, but just elusive creatures, man, and this is why we do it. And if this was easy, we wouldn't have this conversation, right? There would be no such thing as the bow hunting league. There'd be Wayne and Cole would be out chasing fish or something. You know what I mean? If this was easy, we wouldn't want to do it. And that's why we like doing hard shit, and that's what hunting's all about. So
Yep, I agree with that.
But do you think there's anything that we missed or didn't touch on as far as the contest goes?
I mean, there is more to the contest. We have a turkey contest.
I was going to say, why don't you guys touch on the rest of the contest? So you said there's some turkey, and then I was looking on the page. Yep. There's some other stuff.
Yeah, we do have a turkey contest, and then we do also have a elk contest. Mm-hmm. But I think the elk contest is very small. I don't think there's a lot of people.
I think there were only like 6 or 7 teams.
Yeah, it's sort of a real small niche. The turkey contest, there was 20 teams this year, so it's smaller than the deer contest for sure, but it's very competitive. It's old. It's a whole other animal. It's like the guys that do that are so serious about turkey hunting. We're actually on a team. I think we're like 15th out of 20. We're not doing too hot,
something like that.
But it's the best networking that the bow hunting league offers. We do more hunt swaps in the turkey contest than the deer contest, and we only have 20 teams in it. It's just a lot more guys are, open to, hey, come hunt my turkeys, than they are, hey, come hunt my deer.
That's for sure.
And then I guess I did sort of forget about a little bit on the whitetail contest. We do have mule deer that you can enter into the whitetail contest, and like coos deer.
Yeah, you can enter any kind of deer. So coos deer, whitetails, mule deer, blacktail.
Right.
And the cool thing about it is we actually go off of Pope and Young standards for those deer.
Okay.
So obviously your coos deer, you're not going to shoot a 150-inch coos deer.
Right.
I mean, if you did, then you'd be crowned as the greatest hunter of all time.
You'd be Jim Shockey.
Yeah. Right. Jim Shockey couldn't even find a 150-inch coos deer. But the cool thing is we adjust the scores. So you score your deer, you submit your score. We adjust them based on Pope and Young. Mm-hmm. So we make everything even across the board.
Right.
So coos deer,
I think
they
it's
get
20.
They get 20 or 40 inches added to the score, and then mule deer get 20 or 40 taken off.
Right.
I mean, we adjust everything to make it even across the board according to what their Pope and Young scores are.
I see.
Yep.
I understand.
Yeah, we even had last year a kid from Canada in the showdown. So he drove from Canada the whole way to Arkansas to go to the showdown.
Yeah. With a friend.
Yeah, with his friend. But he killed like, what, a 200 and some inch mule deer?
Yeah, I think his mule deer was like 213 inches or something like that he killed, full velvet muley. Just an absolute mammoth.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of a deer.
Yeah, I wish that, sometimes I wish we had mule deer around here too. Give me something else to chase too. But as my friends say, I'm kind of whitetail snobby, so I don't know that I would be doing that. We'll see. I'd like to get into the elk hunting here soon at some point. We'll see if that stills my heart and sweeps me off my feet. But
I shot an elk in 2012 with my bow. The first year we went out and I shot it on public on BLM land in Colorado. And it's like the best way to describe it is if you like to hunt turkeys, it's like calling turkeys in, except they're 800 pounds and they're pissed off and they want to kill you. And they're like coming through the brush and stuff. They're 6-7 foot to their backs or whatever they are. Like it's a pretty cool experience. But I still would rather whitetail hunt. I killed one. It was like a 4x4. It was a small bull, but still do DIY hunt. It was cool. But I'd much rather try to outsmart a 160-inch whitetail than, I don't know. That's just how, I guess maybe it's because I live on the East Coast.
More
here.
than likely.
But I would go back. I would definitely go back and hunt elk again and not complain about it.
Yeah. I think that is the case, though, because, there's guys that live out that way, and we wonder, why aren't you guys shooting these giant whitetail, right?
They don't care about them.
They don't. No. Same thing with the mule deer. You're like, hey, why? There's states out there where they have both, a very large mule deer, very large whitetail, and no, they're after the elk, and I get it. I can understand. There's two different hunting ways to hunt there, even the mule deer. And Pennsylvania is not so much the, run and gun kind of demeanor around here. And there's spots that you can get away with doing some of that, but it's more or less find a spot, figure out the wind, where's the feed, where they bedding, and then I'm going to go in and try to get them. But it's fun. This is the beauty of our hunting. We are able to do whatever we want, right? We can hunt elk, mule, whitetail, whatever, but here in Pennsylvania, whitetail is king, and it's not going to change anytime soon. Although we do have world-class elk. They are
We do.
They're humongous, man. They're huge.
I apply for them every year. I haven't drawn yet, but I only put in for a bull because I don't want to shoot a stupid cow. I don't want to waste my points on a cow. If I draw, it's going to be a 400-inch bull, or I'm not shooting it.
What I can tell you is, for some reason, there's a common misconception here in Pennsylvania that these are like backyard animals.
They are not.
No, they are not. They're not.
I've spent a fair amount of time, looking at timber around Benazet in that area and stuff, and like you'll be out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like sometimes you can walk right up to them. Sometimes it's like all you see is ass,
Mm-hmm.
So no, they're like right around Benazet in the viewing center and stuff like that. I think some of those are a little more domesticated, but you can't really hunt them right there either. So
I've even hunted whitetails up in that area. I've hunted like 45 minutes outside of Benazet where there's still an elk population.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there waiting for a whitetail to come out. And all of a sudden you hear crunching behind you. You turn around, there's a 6x6 bull standing 40 yards from you, staring you down like he's going to run you over.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that they see or smell you, they're gone. They are not tame by any means.
I got to experience a similar situation up in Maine bear hunting, and I'm sitting there, and it's dark, and I'm waiting for the guy to come and get me, and he said, just hang out. And fucking trees falling, bang. I'm like, what the hell? And then I seen the silhouette of it. Here comes this moose walking by. I'm like, oh my. And I'm in a 15-foot tree stand, and I'm like looking at this thing's back. I'm like, what kind of prehistoric dinosaur looking mother is coming? What's going on here? Felt like I was in Jurassic Park, man. It was wild. Really, really awesome now. So but what kind of objectives do you guys got going on this year, going into the season? Then Wayne, what states are you hunting? And then Cole, let's touch on what your objectives are this year too.
Yeah. So basically, for me, my plan is I'm going to try to kill a buck in PA in October. That's my goal. And I'd like to kill something 140 plus. That's sort of where I'm trying to be in PA. But
high standards.
Last year I killed a 141 in PA up in the Allegheny National Forest on public land.
Hats off to you, sir.
I passed several 10 points on my own property that I own that are 120 class deer. I just couldn't shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
So I passed some deer that most people would shoot. But plan on this year trying to kill a buck in PA in October, and in the first 2 weeks of November I'll probably take vacation, and then my plan is to be in Kansas. And hopefully kill a buck within the first several days I'm there. I'm probably looking at something same 140 range and up. Like if I'm sitting there for 3 or 4 days and haven't seen a deer and 130 walks by, it's probably gonna get shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then on my way back home, I'm gonna hunt Indiana and Ohio before I come home.
Great states.
So if I go for 2 weeks, I'll spend all 2 weeks in Kansas if needed. But I'm hoping to spend 3 or 4 days in Kansas, come back to Indiana, hunt 3 or 4 days in Indiana, kill a buck, and then hunt Ohio on my way back. And then I do hunt Ohio. I hunt every year Ohio. So I'll probably hop out some short weekends. Run out Friday night, hunt Saturday, Sunday, come back. And then I've had good success doing that. So I try to not take vacation for PA. Try not to take too much vacation for Ohio. And then I'll spend, my vacation in Kansas, where I think there's a better chance of killing a big deer. And then just sort of, work my way home. If I spend 2 weeks in Kansas and strike out, then hell, I might not kill a buck in PA in October, and I might not kill a buck this year. But that's sort of I'd like to try to kill, my goal is to kill a buck this year, at least one buck over 160. It's sort of I don't know if that's going to happen. That's a stretch. Mm-hmm. The biggest buck I've killed since 2019 is 154 7/8. It's the biggest buck I've killed.
Yeah, that's a big buck. That's big.
So my wife killed a 163 a couple years. That was 2020. Yeah, cool. She killed a 163 here in PA with her bow. That's a big boy. So my goal was sort of to try to kill a buck bigger than hers now, because I never hear the end of it. Because that was the second deer she shot in her life with a bow. Damn. Second deer, and it's 163.
I love to hear it.
So I filmed it. I was there. I filmed it. So
yeah, she was pregnant when she shot it.
She was pregnant. It was cool. Awesome. It was a cool hunt. But she gives me a hard time about it. So I just got to try to kill a buck bigger than that to release some pressure. But you can't kill 160 if you shoot a 120. It's not gonna happen.
True. Yeah.
So,
right.
But I've killed 2019. I killed 2 bucks with a bow. 2020, I killed 2 bucks with a bow. 21, I killed 3 bucks with a bow. And 22, I killed 2 bucks with a bow.
Yeah, you're on a roll, brother. That's
so I would probably kill a deer every year with a bow. I'm not gonna guarantee it's gonna be a 150, but I'll guarantee I'll probably shoot at least 1 buck every year.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on a roll, man. Those are really good numbers. Some guys, and I'm not saying they're putting in the right amount of time or doing the right things, but some guys would kill just to get a shot at one, 110 to 130 inch deer. And I think it's super, super plausible in many regions here in our state. The thing is, that sometimes it's not about putting the antler mass or the antler inches down for some guys, and they just need to get out there and find a mature animal and figure out how to kill it. And then they can try to find more, animals with a larger frame antlers if that's what they want to do. Sometimes we get tied up in social media things, and we're like, hey, you got to shoot this 120, 130, 140, this 150 plus animal. And sometimes guys just got to get out there and shoot mature animals, right? We were talking before, someone shot a 5.5-year-old deer that was 110 inches, right? And that happens. This is Pennsylvania, and some portions have better genetics and better soil and better feed and stuff like that. But what it comes down to here is, shooting a mature buck it's a really hard thing to do. So Cole, what are some of your objectives this year that you got going on?
Yeah, mine are gonna be kind of similar to Wayne's, but also on a little bit of a different track.
Okay. I'm
coming off of the hottest year that I've ever had in PA. I completed my first ever triple trophy this year.
Congrats.
Did 2/3 of it with a bow. Killed the buck and the turkey with a bow.
Nice.
The buck and bear were actually on back-to-back days. Shot the buck the last day of archery season. Very next day, first day of bear season, shot a bear. First bear ever. So
yeah.
Coming off a hot year in PA. So I'm going to try to keep it rolling into the next year. My goals coming into this coming year, obviously going to be trying to shoot another buck with my bow. Keep that streak going. I actually got my girlfriend on her first deer ever last year.
Nice.
She killed a little doe with a bow, so I'm going to try to get her first buck this year. It's going to be another goal, and if I can kill a buck early enough in PA, I'm going to start spending some weekends in Ohio for sure, and then I'm planning on hunting Indiana probably in November as well. I'm gonna expand a little bit. I've been starting to kind of dabble in the out-of-state game a little bit. I hunted Ohio and Arkansas last year, and that was the first time I'd gone out of state for whitetails, so I'd like to kill a buck out of state too. not too picky on which state it is. I'd just like to kill one outside of my home state.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
gonna be
I will tell
next
you
goal.
from experience, you shouldn't have too hard of a time in Indiana and Ohio with that objective. If you're just looking to shoot a nice buck, those states will produce for you. I can promise you that. And also, you know, you'll be able to have the time because you can hunt on a Sunday in both those states. So that's that really helps out-of-state hunting, and I think that, you know, for our state, that would really help out-of-state hunters coming to our state too also. But is there anything you guys want to add to the contest before we start wrapping up our conversation?
Yes, we are actually getting very close to our team signups.
Okay.
For anybody that is listening that's interested in that, our deer contest signups are going to start on June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
Yep. So we're very quickly approaching. We've got a lot that's going to be starting up here. We're finishing up our turkey contest here now. Once all the turkey seasons are over with and everything, we'll finish that up. We'll move into the deer contest signups, and then we're also starting what we call the one-shot challenge. So all that is a shooting contest. I know that we didn't touch on that yet at all.
Yeah.
The one-shot is a weekly shooting contest. You're saying about wishing you had somebody that was there to shoot your bow. Well, this is that contest for you. You don't have to sign up or anything. You literally just shoot. The cool thing about it, though, is you actually do your shots weekly on Facebook Live in the group. So when it goes live, it's going to be in your mind. I've got 42,000 people that could be watching me shoot right now. I mean, you're shooting at a 1-inch dot, and you have no idea how small that dot can be until you hit that live button and you start shaking like an oak leaf in the middle of October.
For sure.
Yeah, you have a 1-inch dot. You show a clean target face. It's all Facebook Live. If your video interrupts, we'll figure out something to do there. But basically, it has to be a one-take thing. You have a 1-inch dot on your target. We do different ranges, random ranges every week. Some's 20, some's 40, some's 60, 70, you know. And then we do like a dice roll week where you take a dice and you roll it. You can get 11, so you can shoot 11 yards, or you can shoot 66 yards, you know, and it's all different for everybody.
Damn.
But it just keeps you like, and you get one shot. That's all you get, and then you measure how close you are to that 1-inch circle. If you hit the circle, that's an X. You shoot again, and you keep doing so until you miss. And then, you know, but usually not a lot of guys shoot too many X's in a row. But like last year, for example, on the dice roll, I rolled 11. I'm like, oh, this is money. And of course, like I never shoot 11 yards, so I missed. I missed by like 1.5 inches at 11 yards, you know.
Damn.
And then my wife got like 62 yards,
Yeah.
and she shoots a 42-pound bow, so she's like, I don't even know how to shoot 62 yards, you know. Like it's fun, it's a good time. But like Cole said, you turn that live button on, you can stand there and you can just sink them shot after shot, you know. And you put that live button on, and you're just like, you don't even know what you're doing. It's like you're just in another world, you know. It's like it's fun. It's a fun little. And then I think there are some prizes for you know. I know we do give away last year. There was I think HHA gave some sites away last year too. That was another prize that I didn't really talk about. I just, as I keep thinking of stuff, it's like there's so much to it.
Yeah, so many prizes.
And I didn't touch on this either, but the Bow Hunting League, we have a Facebook page, but the contest is not a Facebook-driven contest. We have our own website that you submit your deer through our website.
I got you.
So we use Facebook as a platform to communicate, show pictures, but
Promote.
We are not a Facebook contest. We're actually our own. We have our own website, which is bowhuntingleague.com.
Yeah.
And then you can keep the scoreboards on there, all that. That way, just in case you never know how social media is, you know, delete your page or something like that.
Oh yeah.
At least you still have
Especially
a base
Facebook.
there. Right.
Yep.
Right. So that's something I was going to say earlier, and then we started talking about something else, and I totally forgot about it. But yeah, we just use Facebook as a place for everyone sort of to communicate. But it is not a Facebook contest. It technically is we have our own website for the Bow Hunting League.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you had touched on earlier too, like whenever if you join the Facebook page, when you're on there, say you shoot a deer that only scores 50 or 60 inches, it's nothing special. If you post that deer, you're going to have comments on that congratulating you, just like somebody just killed a 206.
You will not be disappointed for submitting your photo.
You are not going to get shamed for any size deer that you kill. I mean, we've had yearling does shot on there that have been entered, and they get the same congrats that a big mature buck gets. I mean,
We've had guys shoot spikes.
Yeah, we had a
Like,
guy shoot a spike last year.
like 10 inches or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
still cool. The old
Yeah, but
Pennsylvania
there's no
11
shame.
point.
Yeah,
he
there's-
wasn't ashamed of it. It was with
Yeah.
the recurve, right?
I think so.
And it's
It's
I mean,
awesome.
like I would shoot a spike with a recurve if I
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I mean,
right?
there's
It's
no
badass.
shame in it because
Right.
we definitely try to keep up with keeping all of the positivity in there and any of the negativity we definitely take it off
That's good.
for sure. So we kind of try to protect our members in that way too.
Yeah, we got to be that way because here in the hunting community, if we're not tight knit, we're just going to ruin it ourselves because
Yep.
Exactly.
we're under attack every day, and we got to stick together and make sure everybody's on the same page. So
Right. And then we do have a website. I know we're opening up a new like a swag store, a new store for the Bowhunting League. Ben used to do all that stuff out of his basement, so like you go to his house and there's just boxes and boxes and boxes
t-shirts
full
and
of crap.
hats and shit.
So he did all the mailing and all that stuff. It was a lot for him. And he actually has a lady now doing his store for him, so you can get all kinds of cool stuff. You know, we got different Bowhunting League hats on.
Sure.
We both got Bowhunting League shirts on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This one says we kill deer.
Nice.
Because that's what we do. We kill deer. But he has all kinds of cool shirts. You know, like he has a Freezer Queen one. Just you know, that was last year. That was new. We had a doe contest. I forgot about that.
That's
Talk
cool
about
too.
that. We used to do big fat doe contest, BFD. The problem with that was people can cheat. You don't know if their skills are accurate, how they throw lead inside of them or whatever. You don't know what they're doing to
Right.
make their deer heavier.
True.
So last year we did just total number of does killed. But you could not submit button bucks. They had to be an actual doe.
Yeah.
So you couldn't just kill. We're not trying to incentivize people killing everything that moves.
Right.
But if you're legally killing does, like I know Justin Miller killed 20 or 22 last year or something like that.
Something like that.
Some
But
spots
in
have
Tennessee,
Killed 18.
right, in Tennessee, you can kill like 3 a day, every day a season, the whole season or something. He said you could kill like 200 deer.
Yeah, he figured
Legally.
it out whenever we were in Arkansas.
Legally,
and he
yeah.
figured that he could kill like 232 does
It was something
in Tennessee in a season.
stupid. But we had that broken down into a north region and a south region. So the winner of the north region got invited to the showdown, and the winner of the south region got invited to the showdown. I think the north region was Chad Hepner. He shot like eight does. So that's sort of attainable. I mean, eight deer in PA is hard to do because of our tag system.
Right.
But it doesn't have to be in PA. You can kill 3 does in PA, 1 or 2 in Ohio,
Right.
1 or 2 in Indiana. You know, and they got some of those guys got saddles.
Yeah.
They got sights maybe. I don't know. They had all kinds of prizes. I mean, that's a whole another
I want to say
can of worms.
that they might have won bows.
I think they did win. They won.
I think they won Botex.
Might have been Botex because we had PSE for the
The
flagships.
top teams.
We had Hoyt for the women, Bear for the trad, and I think it might have been
I think
Botex.
I think it was Botex
Yeah.
for the does, and then everybody across the entire contest that entered a buck, no matter how big, was entered for a brand new Matthews.
Right.
Yeah.
It was-
That's
yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
man. That is really cool.
And then we're really big on local, like supporting local
Mm-hmm.
business and stuff like that. So, like I know a local sporting goods store here in the area, Route 66 Sporting Goods. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but they last year they donated 6 bows.
Damn.
Yeah, 6. They did the trad bows and the women's bows. This year I'm sure they're doing more. I'm not sure how many they're going to do this year, but they're doing something. They will do some, I'm sure. Okie Land in Oklahoma, they did. He did the PSC bows, I
And
think.
the
The Matthews.
And Top Buck in Oklahoma won a brand new Hoyt.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he did a bunch. But basically, our sponsors is what really, Zingers.
sure.
He mentioned Zingers earlier. I don't know if you know what they are, but
Yeah, I've seen that.
you should look in. They're pretty. I was skeptical, but they're pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. They actually have arrows out now too. I shoot those. They have their own arrows. So they came out with.
Canadi arrows.
Yeah, Kanadi. Yeah, pretty cool. But it's just, I mean, we're big in supporting local business. That's what we try to push the little guy, and we have fun with it.
Well, that's what we're all about here, man. I am an entrepreneur myself, and anything that's Pennsylvania based, you guys being from Pennsylvania and promoting. What did you say it was? What was the 66? Who was that?
Route 66 Sporting Goods
Okay.
in Shippensville.
So Route 66 Sporting Goods, give them a shout out too, because they're donating their time and they're donating stuff. Small business, Pennsylvania. This is what we support. We try to keep everything local here within our state when we're spending our money, and that's one thing that I really strive for and try to push, man. We need to keep that shit tight knit, and we were just talking about even our hunting community, we try to stay tight knit. So. I think
And I would love to see Pennsylvania's numbers just explode next year. Like, I think there's a lot of guys in PA that are just afraid to enter into contests because they don't think you're going to win.
Right.
But like I said, next year PA, the biggest buck in PA, you're getting a free bow.
Right.
So I would love to see guys from PA just stepping up. Last year I know we grew quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see PA's numbers really expand, and I'd like to start showing people that PA does have good deer, and we like that way that like. People in Indiana, people in Kentucky, people in Tennessee, like they start recognizing that we are really good hunters. If you're only last year, if we had 50 people in PA, I don't know how many deer got submitted last year in PA. I think I was like number 3 or 4 for the biggest buck in PA.
For the biggest one.
And it was like 141. But I know, every year there's deer killed that are 180, 200 inch deer. So all we need to do is get one of those guys in the contest and put Pennsylvania on the map. Not that I want people to come hunt the state, but it's kind of cool to have that little flex, like that little bit that like we do have the deer here. You just got to know how to kill them.
Yeah, I think we had like 12 or 13 deer entered from PA last year. You shot a 141, and you were 3rd or 4th. Right. I shot a 131, and I wasn't even like top 5. We had some really good deer killed last year. We had a great year in PA last year for the contest, and I really hope that it keeps going.
Yeah.
Kind of puts PA on the map a little bit as hey, we've got big deer too. Don't leave us out of the conversation.
For sure. Well, I think what you guys is doing, you're doing is a great thing. You're giving the opportunity for novice to, I don't want to say professional, to a very good hunter to put themselves out there where they can kind of have some bragging rights, because let's face it, who doesn't like a pat on the back, right? Hey, good job, you've been doing it year in, year out. Or even a novice hunter that just wants to maybe, hey, look at me, I shot this 8-point and I'm really proud of it, right? And that's what it's all about, is being able to put our kills out there and say, hey, look what we did and look what we're doing. And then to be able to do it for free is humongous. And then also to be able to opt in for that kind of prize, when you hear of a free contest, you're probably not thinking that you're going to receive much. Like maybe top prize would be just like a koozie, or like you were saying, or like a mug or something like that. But when you're giving out substantial prizes, you attract a big base, and I think you guys will really excel in Pennsylvania with people, because if you look at the numbers, this is the state you want to be promoting in. We amass mad amount of people when it comes to hunting here. So with that being said, I'd like to wrap up our conversation here with the contest, but before we go, I want you to put it out there where everybody's going to be able to find everything, and then how they're going to sign up.
Yeah, so we've got, like we had said earlier, we've got multiple social media platforms. So you can find us on Facebook at Bow Hunting League, Instagram, Go Wild, YouTube. We've now started a TikTok that we're starting to take off for any of the people that like that stuff. We've got the website then, which is just www.bowhuntingleague.com. That is where you are going to sign up for the contest, submit your deer, and keep up with all of the scoreboards and everything. We've got live scoreboards that we update weekly, so you can see all of the up-to-date action there. And it is super simple to sign up for this contest. You go onto the website there, go down to the bottom, you'll click sign up for the deer contest, and we've got everything labeled. Whenever you go in, you'll enter your team name, your email, your two teammates' emails, and your names, and that is pretty much it. And nice. You submit it, and then you're in. And whenever you kill a deer, you just submit the deer through the page as well. But it's as simple as just taking some pictures with the deer, making sure that your bow's in the picture, and then just scoring it.
Yeah, I don't think it could be more simple than that. And then getting that picture in there, and And then, do you guys, whenever they put them on the website, do you guys put it over to the Facebook then, or do they just have to put it on there themselves?
So we let our members post to the Facebook as well. So you'll submit your deer into the website. If you don't want to post it, that's fine. If you want to post it, we let our members go ahead and post their own photos and everything. That way they're getting the credit and stuff, and they're getting all the notifications knowing that people are congratulating them and everything.
Yeah.
And then we do, like at the end of the season, we'll post all of our top bucks and everything again and tag the members and stuff in it and like what state it was killed in and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think you guys are doing a great thing, like you said, with the camaraderie. And, the biggest thing that I'll be looking into is the trade-a-hunt side of everything, because that's what I'm always looking to do.
That's been a blessing to me. I mean, like I said, I've killed Indiana, Kentucky. I'll be in Kansas this year. Arkansas, I didn't kill last year in Arkansas, but that's all just because it's the bow hunting league.
Yep.
I hunted Ohio before that. But it's just like, it's starting to get to the point now where I'm sure my wife is getting pissed off at me because every year I'm like, oh, hey, I'm going here. Hey, like when someone sends you an invite to say, hey, come hunt my place in Kansas, you're like, you can't say no.
No problem. I'll be there, right?
Yeah, so you're like, oh, you got to fit it in the schedule somehow.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's worth more than, I'd rather do that than win a free bow, personally.
Yeah. Just to even get the experience, whether you kill or not, just to be there.
Yeah, I mean, you meet so many great people through the league too and everything, just talking. You get teammates and stuff that you talk to and everything. I mean, you're making lifelong friendships with that stuff.
For sure.
I mean, you meet so many guys that are just super down to earth. You talk to them all the time after you've hunted with them or been on a team with them. And, I mean, you just never know what doors are going to open for you with that stuff. Yeah. I mean, you can talk to guys and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I mean, we've been friends for 2 or 3 years now. Like, come out and hunt my farm out here. And the only problem that I'm running into now is my girlfriend kind of gets pissed off at me because I'm always leaving her at home. She's like, hey, I want to hunt too. So now I'm going to have to start taking her out of state with me. But
yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, it's a 2-for-1 deal, bud. Just wait till you get one of these. It gets even better.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's really...
Yeah, it's...
Go ahead.
All I was going to say was, I mean, you can be as competitive as you want to be. You can be as uncompetitive as you want to be.
Right.
I sort of like a little bit of competitiveness because, like, it just gets you going. Whenever you see people putting deer down, it's like, man, I got to get out there. I got to do this. Like, it can be 90 degrees, and you see guys laying down deer. You're like, all right, maybe I can do it. It just gives you sometimes that little bit of motivation you need to get out there in the woods. So I like that, and I talk to guys from the league almost daily that they're some of the best friends I have, and I'm thankful to have this league for the for the communication and the contacts that I've made. Like I said, I'm not winning any prizes, but as far as making friends and having a good time, you can't beat it for me, So that's my take on it. That's like I said, I just try to drive that home to people, that it's what you can get out of it, what you want to get out of it. It depends what you want to put into it. But everything behind the scenes, nobody gets paid. It's all for free.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time. Like I'm the main YouTube editor, which, like I said, it's sort of been a little bit in shambles here. We're trying to figure out structure and stuff, what we want to do. But like that's all just I enjoy doing that type of work. I enjoy promoting. I enjoy it. So I'm just trying to do something that I love to do. I guarantee Cole's the same way. He's sitting here tonight because he loves the bow hunting league, because he loves to hunt. And I think there are a lot of guys in the league that would agree with me that they're in it for the right reasons. And I think that's what's going to keep the bow hunting league. I mean, I think we're going to just keep going and going and going because we have that mindset. We're not in it to make money.
Right.
That's not our goal is not money. Our goal is to have fun and promote hunting. And that's really, I would say that's sort of what it is.
Just create a great group that literally anybody can enjoy, no matter how much experience you've got hunting. I mean, we've got new hunters that are killing their first deer ever in the league. I mean, we've got guys that have been hunting for 40, 50 years now. I mean, we've got a little bit of everything for everybody out there. And it's just like the friendships that you make and everything through it are top notch. I mean, you've got so many like-minded people that you're meeting and stuff in that it just kind of drives you to try to be a better hunter and try to put up pretty impressive numbers and stuff like that, and it makes you hunt more. And I ended up getting into it that now I'm helping with the moderating on the Facebook page, And I'm also in our social media group and everything. Like I'd said earlier, I've been helping with like reaching out to people with scoreboards and stuff like that, and that's all because they literally just put a post in the group saying, hey, we could use some more help, who'd be interested. And
Right.
I was like, well, I really like this contest, so I reached out and was like, hey, I'd be interested, and here we are. So
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, you guys are doing a great job. I commend you with, especially, everything's for free, like you said, and I really think that's, speaks a lot to the intentions of the whole contest in itself, and I think that the right people are getting involved, and I thank you guys so much for coming on and promoting exactly what you're doing, and I think that with this, I really hope that this helps get some more people involved, because I can tell you that I will probably be putting my name and putting a little team together, and because like you said, I never know what I'm going to run into the woods either, and I'd love to, as much as I'd love to kill 160-inch deer, that would be even better to get a free bow then too. So
Right,
Yep.
right. So no, I appreciate you having us on, just letting us talk.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm not sure we're the best guys for the job, but I just appreciate the opportunity
absolutely.
to, reach out to some people, and it's kind of nice to have someone from the state that we live in, like-minded, and just have a conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much, and then I always invite the guests back, and if you guys want to come back on, we can get real deer crazy. All right.
Oh yeah, I got some stories I could tell. I could talk deer for a long time.
oh yeah, I can talk deer until I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
I know that game, and I live it, and I know that I can make these last too long. So with that being said, I think that we're right at the perfect amount of time with what we wanted to go over. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. God bless you, and good luck this season. I will be in contact with you guys throughout here. So
Thanks
Sounds
for
good.
having us on. I appreciate it.
okay,
Look forward to seeing you in the contest.
All right.
and getting on here and talking again.
okay. Until next time, guys.
See ya.
You have reached the end of another episode of the Keystone Chronicles podcast. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, please go over, rate, comment, and subscribe on the Apple platform and the Spotify platform. That helps the show so much. Thank you guys so much for the support. I'm going to keep it coming. If you guys want to hear anything different, or you think that we need to get somebody on the show, please reach out to me. You can get me at mcp5141@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram or Facebook and YouTube. Just shoot me a message. Let me know. I appreciate the support. Until next time, thank you.